Yeah, can you hear me now? Does that help?
That's better, yeah, that helps a lot.
Okay. I had the computer on and my phone, so.
We are ready.
Scott, you gonna go ahead and run it?
Okay. It's 4:31 and we'll call the meeting in order. Was the meeting properly announced?
Yes, it was.
Take roll call, show all members are present, or supervisors are present. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second. Ken first. Can't remember. Austin second. All approved, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
We'll take public participation as it comes along, if there is any. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting on July 13th, 2023? Second. Got a first and a second, Ken and Austin. All those approved, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Number 7, Colony Z Duck Creek Bridge Engineering Agreement, SEH.
So just as advertised, this is for design engineering services and for this, it's currently a set of culverts. It will be a bridge once it goes through the design process. And cost for this is 71,000. Where am I not seeing?
The second. 71,000.
There we go, 71,606. So the idea here is that this would be 23 design, 24 construction. We have about 105,000 in grant money that we'll put towards this. Towards construction, design will be county funded. For those curious about this, if there are any, this is not a new project. SEH is very familiar with County Z and these structures as they've had this on paper previously. So we're talking, or what you're looking at is a revisit to this structure.
So this is just to have them do the right of way acquisitions and TOEs.
So they
And update the plan.
This is to update the plans, take it through DNR approval process. Yeah, this is not a DOT approval process. And then if there are additional elements such as easements that need to be acquired, those would be a separate cost to the county. That's not included in this agreement. The right of way here has been acquired, but the easements, I'm almost guarantee that those likely have expired since what acquired in 2006, 8-ish timeframe. If there are easements required, then easements will need to be reestablished.
So we need a approval for motion to approve that, or is that just
We need
FYI?
a motion to approve it, a second, all that stuff, yes.
I make a motion to approve the SEH proposal for the County Z bridges.
Second. Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? More discussion? Hearing none?
No, I'm good.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gordy. Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Traffic safety recommendations and updates.
So we had traffic safety yesterday, here. Two items that we talked about, was flea markets on State Highway 13. There are no specific incidents that took place out in that area other than I had received a few concerning phone calls about folks looking or slowing to look in that area. We have no accidents, no pedestrian conflicts, no parking on State Highway 13 is taking place. I thought that'd be a place to discuss it. The city was in attendance for that. They are not aware of any issues or complaints at this time either. It was just one of those things that had come to my phone. I took it to that group. And then, well, I was the only one talking. So just for information, we had a couple concerning phone calls and vetted it through traffic safety, and there was really no concern that come up from the folks there. So that was the end of that discussion. We did go on and had some horse and buggy signage discussion on where or when we're going to put stuff up. Horse and buggy signs now are on State Highway 13. They are at E and by A. For those signs, we've already, the request is to back those up, especially the south one, down to H, which we potentially could do. You gonna grab those folks, whoever that is, Lana?
Yeah, they're both joining and it's both open.
Oh, okay. So we could back that sign down to H. The desire or the reasoning is there's some traffic that takes place down to H to utilize the park, and I guess some services that are attended down that way on Sundays. So that's on the state highway system. On the county system, as you all know, we currently don't have any horse and buggy signs up on the county system. So what we discussed, or I guess I discussed or offered or talked about, was movement of horse and buggies. They're predominantly east of 13, predominantly south of 21, predominantly north of 82. And that quadrant over there is where they're kind of moving, living, working. Not to say that's the only area that they are, because it's not. We periodically, we've had one come past the office here. We had a couple go down H that we know of for sure down to the dam. So thought was, if we were going to sign, where do we sign? If we're going to put signs up, where do they go? So with that being said, with the exception of County I down there, we know there's movements down on County I. There's families in that area. If we were going to sign something, it would be that quadrant there that we would propose to do something on. We've had concerns about J. The sheriff has acknowledged already that he's encountered horse and buggy on J, both directions at varying times of the day. We've passed them on. Our employees have passed them on County G, anywhere from 21 down to 82 at varying times. I've encountered horse and buggy on County E, not every day, but on some reason they get out there on E for whatever reason. They do move around. County A, coming out of Brooks, we've passed folks there. We know there's a family just north of Brooks already. So it would be that quarter, that quadrant, I guess, north of 82, south, east of 13, if we were going to consider signing something. So how would that happen? It would be very similar to other signing that we would do. We necessarily don't put a sign at every spot where there's an intersection. We sign at state highways when you get off, and then at major intersections after that. So for example, and we could do some reassurance signs within long segments. And I mean, when you get out to be 5-7 miles before you cross another sign like that, you would put a reassurance or another notification sign in that corridor. In many cases, you wouldn't need that because there's county intersections in there where we would sign that as one's turning off, you would see another sign, horse and buggy and kind of. So that was my thought, and I don't know if the committee has others.
I think that's, we just read at the county intersections.
Yeah.
Basically.
Essentially, yes, that's essentially what it is.
Sounds like a plan. Gordy, you got any thoughts?
What was that, Pat?
You got any thoughts on that?
No, not really. I know we kind of shied away from it a while ago, so I guess it's gonna have to be up to your discretion, I think.
Is that it?
Yeah, that was our entire traffic safety agenda, if you will, those 2 items. Now, what we do on there also is as part of that agenda, we do review fatal crashes in Adams County. Unfortunately, there were 4 already this year. 3 of the 4 were noted as impaired driver. The other one was very, very unfortunate. It was a motorcycle. It was a trike deer conflict, and the individual did not make it as a result of that crash. But the other 3 were, like say, they were contributing factor was impaired driving. That was the other element that we do discuss there. As part of that discussion, we don't just talk about that fatality, but we think about, look at contributing what are the contributing road factors to that incident. On the other 3 cases, one was at a curve, on bike, a motorcycle. Undetermined at this point what, if any, alcohol played into that, but the other 3, the other 2, I should say, did. So they were on straightaways. So 2 on a straightaway, 1 on the curve, and the gentleman on the bike out there, unfortunately, was on a straightaway as well. Questions, thoughts on traffic safety stuff? More questions on those?
Moving on, highway uniform policy.
Okay, so same policy that was here last month, under new language, I guess, if you will, under new agenda language for you. More appropriate action item for the committee to look at. You can as well. It is on the table again. If there's modifications or changes, I mean, now would be your opportunity to do so. Just on that item, what we've done so far is we've already had a fitting, if you will. The vendor has been here. He's sized our guys. Our guys have made their choices on garments, and we worked with the vendor or talked with them about storage. And let's see, soiled garments, we have a plan for those. So that's where we are at. And it's on here again, like I say, under a more appropriate action item for you.
I just got one question. Is there guys that opted out not to have this?
Not a one,
Okay,
every one of them
so in
signed it.
so the next hire, say, is this gonna be mandatory for them, or they'll have an option?
I'm not making it mandatory for them, no. I don't want to be the uniform police. If they want to use this program, it's entirely up to them. So in the program itself and the document, I need to catch up here, I guess. It is entirely up to the employee if they want to participate or not. Or if you choose not to, there are no other means of compensation for you. You need to acknowledge that the guy sitting next to you may be receiving a benefit that you chose not to. to this point, every employee has chose to use and both the pants and the shirts.
So if everyone opted in, they should be wearing them, the garment every day that
That's-
they're working.
Absolutely.
So they can't come in like one day, hey, I'm gonna just wear my blue jeans today and not,
That's the idea, is they have, let's see, nine sets. So they'll always have in their possession a week's worth of clothes to wear into work. So a shirt and a pair of pants. And I agree, the question would be, well, it's been 5 days and you haven't worn your uniform, the uniform shirt being provided. I mean, I need to ask that question, what's going on? I mean, if you're not going to use it, let's cancel it and get out of that portion of it.
yeah, at least why should we be paying?
Yeah, exactly. I do agree with that.
I already probably know the answer to this one. My last question is, if a guy does opt out or a new guy comes in, he is not gonna be compensated in any way if he just uses his own clothes.
No,
Okay.
no, we have no other means.
I've actually had probably a half dozen of the employees see me at stores or in town or someplace and come up and says, this is just great that you guys approved that, because we're tired of going in our dryers and trying to get the tar off of our dryers inside and cleaning up our washing machines, and our wives are gonna be so much happier with us that we're not having to go and get break clean and do things. And
I think it was, they are, the gentlemen are appreciative that you have moved forward with approving this. There are many wives looking forward to not having to launder their work clothes.
I guess I got one more. Anybody else? I'm sorry. Anybody else?
go ahead.
Are you gonna just keep the same vendor the whole time, or is there, after so many years, you're gonna go out for bids on it, or?
So right now, we're in agreement with Cintas through a government-led contract agreement, and to be very honest, I do not know the length of that agreement. And if Cynthia, do you recall how long that runs? Do we opt in every year? Is that how that one works?
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I'm not aware of what the expiration date is on that or any kind of carryover, but what I can tell you is that we are consolidating our vendors. So solid waste has the same vendor. We do get a kind of a larger discount when we have, the more work you have available to somebody, the bigger discount. But no, I don't have a date on that, but I can get you that.
that's all I got. Anybody else?
I think it's all good.
Ready to move on?
We just need the motion.
Need a
I make a motion to follow through with the way we left it.
Motion has been made. I got a second.
second.
You understand what I mean, the way it was.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
I
All opposed? Passes unanimously.
All right, thank you again. Okay, this is it.
Number 10, Highway Department policy.
So, knowing or having the discussion that we previously had and hearing some things, what you're looking at here is a little compilation of a series of things that were previously issued or I issued, or things that we do, or ways we conduct ourselves here at Highway. Now, I'm not saying we have to go through this entire thing tonight. If you want to look at it some more, or kick it around or read it. But things in here are like how we do construction, how we do maintenance, how we set those priorities. The other things in here, like say our like work schedule, how we do 5-day work weeks or 4-day work weeks. They're both in there. There's always an outside chance that we have to go back to a 5-day work week. Right now, our plan is to be on a 4-day work week. Overtime, like I say, is by the county policy, time forward, time back, time use. What I mean by that, what we do with our guys is they are allowed to use their time forward, they're allowed to use their time back. So for example, if a gentleman were to take PTO day on Monday, and then he works 12 hours on Tuesday, he could technically reduce his PTO usage on Monday down to 4 hours. He's worked 12 hours on Tuesday. I should need to back up. That's on an 8-hour day, we're on 10-hour days. So for example, it'd be the same if he worked a 12-hour day on Tuesday, he could use 2 hours back on Monday to make his 10, right? So that's what I mean by that. We don't, so that's our limited use. We don't have, like maybe some folks do a bank of time. We don't have count time. We don't do count time here. Call times by the county policy, that's already in our employee handbook. I put a note here about travel and mileage because periodically we do have guys report to outlying sheds, and we do that often in the winter time. We have guys who will call in advance and say, report to the shed, get your truck and start from there. Things like that. This one here, this equipment, we have an internal document that we ask our guys to complete. It's an equipment inspection form. It basically is asking you to look and inspect that piece of equipment before you take it out. I have a notation here about our Skyward mobile app. Skyward has an app. Many of our guys have it on their phone now at this point. Our expectation is that you're going to be in the building when you punch in. Coming down the road and seeing the building is not acceptable. That's not at work. You need to be in the building at work. Same would go when you're reporting to the outlying sheds. Now, how do we know that? Well, we can know that to a certain extent. All of our trucks are equipped with GPS. So what that means is, as soon as you turn that key on, I can see that truck's running. So I know something's happening there at the shed. If they're doing that part, that's work. There's stuff that had taken place already before that key was turned on. So we kind of get a rough idea. Don't get me wrong, we do not have problems with guys not showing up or pulling in the gate late. Quite honestly, a lot of times it's the opposite of that. They want to get out in front of things as much as they can. The cell phone use stuff, we just elaborate on that a little bit here. Cell phones and CDL vehicles, not something you do anyway. You should be pulled over if you need to use that. So we have some discussion here about that. We have some stuff in here about winter maintenance and snowplow routes. Some guidance and procedures on how to plow. We have some discussion in here about salt sand and salt. We do not give away salt or salt sand to anybody. We don't give it to our employees. We don't give it to private citizens, whether you worked here for 20 years or 5 years. We don't give it away. We don't hand it out, whether it's a truckload or a 5-gallon bucket. We don't do it. We shouldn't do it. Private party sales, we don't do. We don't sell to private folks. The only folks we sell to are municipalities, and that means the school district, township, city, village, folks like that.
Before you go any further, I just got a question on that, and I got a question on ours too.
Yeah.
Isn't there a spot out here where people can come and get sand for their driveways and whatnot?
There's not.
Okay, because that's a big thing that gets passed around, that you can go out to county shop and get your own sand.
There used to be a pile out here for sandbags, but that was.
What I'm talking about is salt sand.
Okay,
And what maybe you what we're discussing now is sand and sandbags for high water events. And that, yes, that's provided by emergency management. It's stored or housed out here. And you've seen a pile out by our entrance there. We've had it for a while when we had high water events. That's supplied by emergency management.
But that's not for winter use.
No, we don't leave it out there during winter either. You couldn't, I mean,
It'd be solid.
you wouldn't be able to, yeah, I was gonna say, you wouldn't be able to use it. It would be awfully tough situation.
And hourlies, maybe it's in employee manual. Is it overtime over 40 or certain hours a day?
It's after 40 hours worked.
Okay.
So for example, I don't know if I need to say more than that. If you take 10 hours PTO on Monday and you work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you work 5 hours on Friday, you're either gonna take 5 hours of straight time, or we will allow you to take that 5 hours backwards to Monday and decrease your PTO usage from 10 hours to 5 hours. So it's after 40 hours worked.
And this might be a question for Cynthia. This was approved through finance and the county manager, or wouldn't she have to approve that? Approve, if you're going to 4 tens? Year round, I mean, I know you go 4 tens now, but in the winter time, was it different, or summertime?
This would be our first attempt to go year-round 410s.
And that-
So I don't, if it's this committee or if it's Cynthia or admin finance, I guess I'm looking for direction on where I need to go.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, whether that was something that's already happened, or.
And we can make that a separate discussion if you'd like. Because it's not in here.
Okay,
It's not in here that says we have to do year-round 410s.
so is that gonna come before us, or is,
I can have it next month.
I think, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know about these guys, I'd like to see you bring it forward. I think it's a good thing for the guys, and it's a good tool for hiring too.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sorry.
I can let you know that admin, which means administration here within the county, is in favor of this. So working with Pat, yes, I believe this should go to your committee. Your committee does have, to me, it has the power to approve it.
Thank you. All right, sorry.
So just continuing on, and again, I'm going through this kind of fast, so I'm not asking, this can just sit here and we can discuss more next month. Anyways, continuing on, we're down to what we call equipment use policy. Basically, what we're saying here is all equipment must be operated by highway department personnel. We don't allow equipment to be used or, let's see, I'll say we don't allow equipment to be used by a private party. We don't allow it to be used by other counties. There are very limited situations where we allow that to happen. Say, for example, it might be our traffic signals. Those we would go set up and then they would stay there. We don't need to be there all day for them. We might say, for example, a county might want to use, I don't know, I would say a skid steer attachment. I might agree to say, yeah, just it fits on your machine. Yeah, it fits. I'll just say, yes, you can use the grinder. But as far as driving or operating, one of our personnel goes with that piece of. That would go the same for when we go up to the fairgrounds and do operations up there. It's not a free task. Our guys are our department is reimbursed for that when you see the guys up there doing stuff. So that's kind of that. Camera policy, as you know, we have cameras all over the place here, including vehicles. Those are to be left alone. They're not to be toyed with, tinkered with, modified, changed, turned on, off, or any of that stuff. Same goes with the equipment, right? We already talked about this. We have GPS equipment, ABL GPS equipment on a lot of our vehicles. don't mess with it, just leave it as is. We ask, there's a notation in here about cleanliness of vehicles, you know, if you take it in the truck with you, take it out of the truck with you at the end of the day. That can be a struggle at times, and we remind our guys about that, you know, keep those things clean. A little notation there about dress and grooming, it's also mentioned in the employee handbook. I mean, no concerns, we don't have folks like concerning dress code issues. Make a notation about the keys, we do have best key system here at Highway Department, so employees are expected to retain and know where their key is. We don't have lost keys, I guess, if you're wondering, but we don't, they're never copied, they're never shared. It's that individual's key. Towing liability, we talk about this because we are out in the weather early in the morning. We do not tow private vehicles. They will beg us, they will ask us, they will plead with us, but I always tell our guys, never hook a chain to somebody's car, truck, pickup, whatever it is. Sounds kind of mean, but it's
No.
just the way it needs to
What it's
be.
gotta be. like,
We cannot move a private vehicle. Unfortunately, we don't wait for tow trucks to go around private vehicles either. Our guys will continue plowing, and they need to. Rarely does it ever happen on the county system where we encounter somebody who's just really stuck that bad. Generally, if we plow around them, well, we never touch them. But if we open up the road on both sides, generally with a shovel and a little effort, they get going. We do encounter it on town roads sometimes where we come across a vehicle that's just abandoned. We're not going to stop plowing, we plow around it, and unfortunately, that adds to their problems because there ends up being a bank of snow. It's not my problem. Firewood, we cut a lot of wood along the county highways. We do not allow our guys to negotiate or in any way try to acquire that wood. That is wood that belongs to the county, and the first possession of that wood should go back to the adjoining landowner of that parcel. That's the way we work it. So no negotiating when you're out on the job for X walnut or whatever you're looking at on the cut.
What happens if the neighbor says, hey, I'll take that wood? Would you take it over to his property and leave it then? Or
No, we don't. The only way we do that, and we do similar things like that, but we need to have both landowners on board that I want my wood X landowner, I'm giving my wood to Y landowner right here next door. I want my wood to go to him. That we will do.
Okay.
But we will not.
You're not gonna haul it by mouth.
No, we don't put it in the truck and move it down. If it's on our project, we'll try to get it moved around and try to accommodate folks that way. But we don't put it in a truck or on a trailer and start moving it around. It's best, I mean, it's really most cost effective to us if we can get it to the landowner right on site. We don't have to move it. We don't have to try to sell it out here. So firewood stays on site. I make mention there are two-way radios. We have two-way radios. Just keep your communication in a professional manner related to highway business. There's a notation in there about CDL policy and limited term employees. I think at this point I can probably almost take that out because LTEs have been removed from our employee tree. At this point, I don't have the ability to even hire a limited term employee, I don't believe. And we're not seeking to hire a limited term employee at this time. This county supplied work apparel, that's the same stuff, the same language that we just had discussion about. Okay. This here, safety equipment boots. This is our boot policy. This has been in place for as long as I can ever remember. We do have a reimbursement, we have a stipend. We currently supply $125. in the form of a voucher to our employees. With that voucher, they can go to Rogan Shoes and purchase foods. When they do that, what happens is this paper is turned over, Rogan Shoes vouchers us for that 125, and that's how we reimburse Rogan's. The minor or slight advantage to that for our employees is that cost is reduced by that 125. So if your boots are 200, you're gonna get reduced by 125, you're gonna pay $75 for the boots. And if you've been to Rogan's before, what happens is they offer the option to buy a second pair of boots at half price. They honor that with this program as well. So that's another advantage that they do get out of that. We will also accept and pay 125. If an employee just does not like anything at Rogan's, then they prefer to go somewhere else. They need to bring their original receipt in, provide it to the office, and they can get reimbursed that, the 125.
They can't keep it for 2 years, say, and
It's annually, no, it does not carry over. There's just more language there. Tool allowance, that's in the county policy, so I did not draft any additional language up there. I make a notation here on jewelry. We just really try to frown upon guys wearing metal rings, getting in and out of trucks, on and off equipment. I wish, you know what happens when the guy gets a ring caught on something, it will deglove them, it'll peel their skin right off their finger. So we talk about that with our guys, and there's not many folks here that have that desire. Go on below there, it talks about shop policy, and what we're talking about here is just a number of things that we're looking for, asking for, expecting for in the shop when guys are out there working. And like I said, we can go through this again more next month. I don't, if you want me to read through each of these, or if you want more time to read through each of these, please do so. And when we get to the end of this thing, say, yeah, let's talk about it again next month, and that's fine. Because I'll have the 10-hour year-round days on there anyway next month. Just more shop stuff about parts on coming in and out of our parts room, work orders, how to, we have some tools in county-owned special tools that we have here. We have a tool crib for those. It's more stuff on fluids. We have an oil room and how we are asking guys to record and use that stuff. Service calls, field calls, when guys are going out in the field. We're not asking or expecting our mechanics to be advocating or bargaining for that service call or ducking away from that service call. They need to do the work that's given to them. Shop truck discussion here as well. Both of our shop trucks, of course, are supplied with fluids and tools. When they go out in the field, when those come back, we're expecting or asking that one, the shop truck be cleaned out if it's parts or stuff that's been collected as a result of the repair, or fluids have been used that they be restocked in this truck so it's ready to go the next time. Just more shop stuff here on what we're asking for and expecting in the shop on safety issues. Here's one that, I don't know, it doesn't make it very, one of the things we do here, in countywide, I hope. Whenever something happens to a piece of equipment, we do what we kind of consider a little internal investigation. So we'll look into what happened. We'll take photos, we'll take statements. We'll come up with a determination if there was some neglect or some carelessness, and if there's a reason to discipline, then we'll do that. We'll collect, like I said before, we have video on many of our trucks in the shop, and we'll cut that, make that part of the file, and if there's a need or a reason to move forward with discipline, then we will do that. Fortunately, it's happened periodically, not very often, but just so the guys understand, and they do, when something happens, we're going to ask. It's not just you, that's how we're gonna do it. And then just at the bottom, here's just some, here I talk about safety vests and this may need a slight revision or addition in regards to class 3 shirts as well. And hopefully we're getting to the end. That's it. That's the entire thing. So again, this is not something I sat down and thought up yesterday. This is really an accumulation of multiple memos or directives that have been given over a period of years, combined in this document in one place.
Do they have to wear the safety pants when they're out in
And
live traffic?
at night, pants of course are required for night work. And then on the state highway system, when flagging, pants are required. Flaggers are required to wear pants when flagging on the state highway system.
We used to have it that no matter who you are, if you were out there within so many feet of live traffic, we had to have it.
Yeah, do you provide cold weather gear?
No, I'm doing this, no. And I'm going to say no in the sense that we don't provide coveralls, we don't provide. I'm not sure exactly specifically what you're asking me, but no. We provide gloves, safety glasses, safety vests, chainsaw chaps, helmets, safety glasses, earplugs, things like that. But not cold weather gear. I would say, when it gets to be extreme cold, we do our best to try to keep our guys inside. The last thing we want is somebody to get frostbite and then we lose them for an extended period of time. So when it gets extreme cold, we work inside the truck heated storage facility. It might be such thing that snow fences down where you can get out, get that repair done, get back in. But as far as providing coveralls or cold weather, no, we do not.
Any questions, Gordy, anybody?
Nope, I'm good.
That's all you want to say on that?
Is it a condition of employment to have their CDL here then?
Right now, we are CDL required. That being said, we've already had discussions about what are we going to do when that CDL applicant pool starts to dry up and go away, where guys with CDLs are working other places and making more money. Right now, CDLs are required. We have made offers to employees with less than a full CDL. So maybe they have B, class B portion. The offer would go out that they have, used to be 6 months. I don't know what it'll need to be now, but it used to be 6 months to get their class A. Maybe they make an attempt at getting their class A and they're unsuccessful. We would, and have in the past, granted an extension to, take another crack at that test. And hopefully be successful the next time. Right now, CDLs are required. It's in our job description, yes.
Anybody else? Moving on, 2023 project status report.
So do you want this back on next month for more discussion, consideration, look at, not look at?
I would say just the okay, if you need it, okay for the 10 hours. Year round.
If you don't mind, if I could reach out to our county manager, and Cynthia, what are your thoughts on what I've presented so far here in regards to 10-hour days? 10-hour days, I get it. I'm gonna bring that back next month. But I'm talking about this document here, Cynthia.
Can I see it again in here, quick? What the language is in here about that?
Nope, I'm gonna bring 10-hour days back for the committee to consider. What I'm asking your thoughts on are, should the committee formally adopt this document that we're looking at? That we browse through?
I suggest you put it,
Yeah,
because to be honest with you, I didn't read it. I'd like to. So I would just suggest for the sake of,
We'll table it till next month then. That'll give Cynthia time to look it over more and if she's got any suggestions. Okay,
yeah, it'd be hard to pass a policy if you don't have that particular 410s approved, right? Because that's what's listed in there under hours of work.
yes.
Page 4 kind of goes into page 5. So,
And it still has the 5/8 in there.
There's always an option that here's the question I have, right? So you really want me to come back to the highway committee if I'm really having struggles with 10-hour days? You really want me to wait until next month to switch back to 5/8? I just find that, to me, it's a little cumbersome, but I'm fine with that. And I'm not expecting that, folks. What I'm saying is, in our employee handbook, it specifically says that department heads can set their work week and work hours. And I'm fine with not following that, but then we need to not follow that then. We'll have it back. We'll put it on next month. I'm sure Cynthia and I will probably have a conversation here at some point in regards to employee handbook and
well,
things like
given
that.
if it says what you just said, then I think you already have the authority. Well,
It'll be
so-
on next
The
month.
only thing like I said, I would like to look at that whole document, because I didn't.
Oh, I
read it.
agree.
And then so that if it's on the agenda, we can make amendments or adjustments or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. When I got it on here, I really didn't anticipate that I was going to ask that it was gonna go fly through here tonight. But wanted to introduce it, wanted to start that review and talk about thing and see. And get it in front of you and have another opportunity to take a kick at it. So if you need hard copies or want to leave here with a hard copy, I can do that as well.
I would like.
For you do. For you. Okay. Okay. Postpone next month.
Table.
Yep.
2023 project status report.
So went through and made some modifications just today, actually. I'll start at the top, County Z project. As far as I'm aware, we have not received any additional bills. Chris is saying no with me. So that is stayed the same. Essentially. Stayed the same as it is. I'm gonna tell you, it's not gonna be abnormal if we receive a bill or get a credit on that project. It could be years out. And it will be at some point here, I think soon, the larger bills are not going to come anymore. It's just gonna be those couple $100 here, and couple $100 back. I think. County M, it's on there. I updated it to 8/10/23. We have not had a pay request come through yet, so we've paid nothing yet on County M. It's not abnormal. It's not abnormal. I poked James Peterson about it, and they don't seem too excited or too rattled about getting one ready for us. So one will be coming. There's mention on here about County Double C. Remember last month that was awarded to D.L. Gasser. No activity. It has not been started yet. It's anticipated September. Double X project's postponed. That will not be taking place. So we're going to be essentially removed. will not happen. And then there's the 3 seal coating projects underneath there. It seems like we should be complete with bills, but we are not. Bills are still coming in for seal coating, so those are not the actual costs. We will get oil bills, we will get bills from the other counties. I know they're, I don't want to say behind, they have not billed us yet for their services. So those will go up. But they are essentially complete. They're seal coated, they're swept and painted.
Anybody got questions? Number 12, report on highway department operations.
Well, we are doing a fair amount of shouldering, like I think I mentioned previously, we did some work on double C, and now we're doing some work on G south of 21. We're predominantly using the crushed recycled pile that's out the window here. And we are painting, not right at the moment, but we are in the process of painting on those north central and southwest region contracts. We have one of the vehicles that we utilize on the painting operations, had a little bit of mechanical breakdown that's up at a vendor being repaired. So that is about a week out, they tell us. We will run our other paint truck while that is gone. We normally run both at the same time. In addition to that, the state of Wisconsin has handed to us another 1 million feet of painting. So what that means is, it's going to be additional painting for us. Those funds are going to be transferred from another county's painting contract. They're opting not to paint the other county, so
It's an attached county animal.
it's down by Columbia. The painting operations that we're talking about taking place will be in Columbia. We had an incident down by State Highway 13 by Chula Vista, so we had a beam guard repair take place down there. Storm damage cleanup, wasn't much of a storm, but we had a fair amount of trees down that we had to clean up. Unfortunately, guys in the shop had our chipper in there rebuilding the, I don't want to call it the drum is fine, but the carriage or the housing where that drum grinds is being, they're rebuilding that or replacing that right at the moment. So we did have to haul some brush on this one. Our new truck, if you remember, our new truck is here. It is has all the attachments, I guess. It's built, outfitted. It is currently set up as a plow truck, so we are not planning to convert it back to a haul truck. So remember, it can be a haul truck. It's going to double as a plow truck. We're not going to put the tags back on and pull the underbody off and drop the Storm Extreme on it. We're just going to leave it set up as a winter maintenance vehicle at this point. County M. County M east of G is for the most part complete. They are going to crush the I'm not advocating that you go out there, but the asphalt was stockpiled in the intersection. They plan on crushing that, I believe tomorrow, starting crushing it tomorrow, and then placing that on the road. So part of the road base. After that, of course, it'll need pavement. Of course, there's seeding and mulching and restoration and stuff to be done. But the construction or the reconstruction of County M on that side is, that portion of it is complete. Paving anticipated mid-September is when Gasser's planning to be in the area to start paving on our projects. In addition, the contractor has started on County M west of G. They started down by County G. Within the contract, it was set up with the option for our contractor to have the ability to start on that west side if everything lined up, right? So the weather did, Frontier got their work done, so there's a place for them to go work. They started at the very east end, so they started just off of County G. Our contract documents don't specify that they must start back at 8th or at 6th. It says you can start on the west side if there's an area available for construction. Now think about things, County M, west of G, down the 4th Drive. That's where they're going to focus their work here this fall. County M is a borrow project. Their borrow site is currently an ag field in use. So in a sense, they don't have access to that material. I mean, they're likely not going to buy the crop off there just to get the dirt. The area that they're proposing is going to use the least amount of fills, right? So the little bit that I'm sure they need, they're probably going to truck it. I cannot guarantee that's the reason they started down at the very east end, but I would put most of my money in that bucket. That's why they started down at that end. Think about the other areas that on County M. Everything west of 5th Avenue, 6th Avenue, it's going to require some fills. The road width is just not there. So there's a fair amount of fill to go in there, and they are working with one of the adjoining landowners for that fill. And like I say, it's currently an ag field. So also a couple concerns about traffic, about harvest, how are we going to get in, how are we going to get out. Talked about it today in our weekly meeting that it's a concern. Again, you know, it is a construction project. We just, unfortunately, we got to tear them apart. They got to put them back together. That's how we get road improvements in. You know, I can't guarantee that somebody's going to not get stopped because there's a piece of equipment going. It could happen. However, on the other side, they always maintained one lane of traffic, with the exception when they were replacing culverts that crossed the roadway. There were some conflicts at that point. You got a piece of pipe, you got to dig a hole. That's part of the deal there on that. They did work with Heartland on the other side without any issue. So I would not expect anything less on the west side here, where they can work with the folks to move their product in and out where they need to get to. So being aware of it today, so they were listening, and say activity has started out there. It started at the very east end IG. And then internally here, radios. Radios in the building are non-functional, obsolete, can't get parts, all those types of words. To be quite honest, they're the same radios that I remember using when I started 25 plus years ago. They no longer work. What I mean by that is, in our office, we have base stations, and we use those to talk, communicate with the guys out on the. I can't do that anymore. I can, just the other day, I got my key, went out to my truck, started my truck, and then I could use my two-way radio in the truck. But internally here, these do not work. So we're looking at radios. We're looking at getting those replaced. So we met with the vendor today, Baycom, and so they're gonna put together a little cost proposal for us to do that. We have 2 vacancies here at Highway Department. We're hoping to interview for both of those very soon. Next week, I know one is set for sure. And hopefully we can land a couple folks to fill those 2 vacancies. Mechanic and our fiscal accounting clerk, the spot that gentleman relocated to, yeah,
So is the mechanic one you have an interview for, or the other position?
well,
Oh, you got interviews for both of them?
yeah.
They'll go either way.
One need to see the all.
Yeah. And that's all I have at the moment. Unless we have some questions.
I was wondering out on by the curb and gutter in front of Chuck and Anita's house out there. When the water goes to the south, I think the water is missing the asphalt flume. And there's a washout going to
Oh,
the
there is.
south. Just so you know, I didn't know if anybody seen it or not, but it goes right past the. Even going past the flume.
I know they're still trying to get them to come back up to do some restoration. I know where you're talking.
Gordy, you got anything?
No, I don't think so.
Ed, you got anything? Anybody else here? Financial report?
Chris, you got any guidance, assistance with this one here?
Nothing out of the ordinary. The expenses and everything have been standard.
How's the budget looking? Gonna get it in that time?
We're working on it. It'll be.
So,
next month.
yeah, likely you're going to have, we'll have that budget discussion next month, I'm sure. We meet. So admin week before or something like that. Budget will be on next month, next month's agenda, I'm sure. For review discussion. But as far as internally here in the highway department, like we haven't paid anything out of county government, so we haven't any big movements other than our daily operations. More or less, good, bad.
Anybody? Gordy, you got anything on the financials?
Nope, everything looks good. You went over pretty much everything prior to that anyhow.
Okay, identify possible upcoming agenda items. I think we discussed that about the hours in the policy.
Yep.
Anybody else have anything for next meeting? Now, Gordy, you're on here. Set next meeting date.
Just a minute. Looks like September 14th.
Yep.
It looks like it's a good date for us. Anybody not make it? All good? All right, with that, we'll adjourn.